Wuthering Waves, the only Gacha game that hasn't made me want to press spacebar 100 feet in the air while exploring. I've been playing Wuthering since launch as a casual enjoyer, and let me just say I was hooked. First by the visuals, then the exploration, then the combat, and finally the story in that exact order. Now let's be real, launch was not perfect between bugs, server maintenance, optimization so bad it made computers cry, and a slow start story with the only thing I can really remember was Scar being cool. But props to Kura Games, they didn't hide, they handed out compensation, free pulls, resources, and more importantly actually listened to the community feedback. Look, it's expected that bugs and optimization issues happen at launch, that's just a part of going public with a game. Our job as players is to break the game and send the devs to fix it for us. That being said, the early story experience needs to be fixed, because let's be honest, some players won't stick around long enough to hit the good stuff in 2.0 if they have already fallen asleep. Here's what I think could help. Repackaging the initial chapters, more animated cutscenes, condensing the fluff because nobody wants to hear 5 dialogue boxes for saying hello in 10 different languages. Like come on, we aren't watching Dora anymore. As well as having better music overall, not just in key moments, and of course continued game optimization improvements so more people can enjoy the game. You don't want to end up like certain other gachas that have a budget of a small country and still wasted on mid-character designs and a floating lobotomized parrot. Honestly, a real lobotomized parrot might be better than Paimon because at least I know why it's stupid. Now if Kura can fix their weakest point, like the early game story, that means more newcomers, more casual retention, and ultimately longer term success. Now that's enough to talk about the weakest area in the game, now let's talk about the visuals. Honestly, absolutely stunning, especially by Gacha standards. You'll be in the middle of a quest, take a turn, and suddenly, yo, that's pretty sick. The game nails this dark yet polished aesthetic. It doesn't make you feel like it's trying to be too kid friendly. Please grab your parents' wallet for us, and I thank Kuro for that. It's like they sat down, opened a notebook titled Everything Genshin Did Wrong, and started taking notes. And the visuals just keep getting better. 2.1 brought in the winded visual effects, and more recently the devs showed some new water effects in the last dev stream. Compare that to Genshin, who has had the time, money, and tech to modernize visuals across all their titles, and just hasn't. Honestly, Kura is doing a good job visually wise anyway. The only thing I would like to see in the future is revamping the character expressions throughout the game. Now let's touch a little bit on the recently released story/event quest. The Chikona quest felt amazing. I was scared when I saw it was an event. I thought great, FOMO content incoming, but no, it's permanent, and that's a huge W. We don't want another archipelago incident occurring anyway. More importantly, the quest itself, Kuro nailed it. Great pacing, lots of animations / cutscenes, not bloated with filler dialogue, feels condensed but still emotionally resonant. This is what story content in Gacha games should feel like. Not a checklist to talk to NPC 56 about his lost cabbage or free apples in return, which can't be said for its counterpart that released with it. While I see the potential it has, no one wants to be reading 12 books to play an event. They could have at least tried voicing it, but thankfully we have an auto skip button at the very least. The community is already voicing their concerns, so Kuro can improve from it. Now that we've touched on the most recent story and events that got released, let's talk about the combat. Honestly, it's extremely solid. The team building is very straightforward. The game does a great job at easing into their systems, from dodging and parrying to basic interactions. But once you go deeper, there's real mechanical depth. Different dodge and parry mechanics, timing and positioning does matter to an extent, while also having fluidity between character swaps. And the best part, the game rewards skillful play. Enemies get stunned or punished for doing the mechanics, get bonus damage for doing parries or dodge mechanics. Parrying and dodging feels and sounds satisfying. Now compare that to Genshin, where combat feels the complete opposite, and the only complexity within the game revolves around the team building and elemental reactions, basically just color matching while pressing the buttons in the correct order. The gameplay doesn't make you feel rewarded for doing the game mechanics, like Wuwa does, it's not showing big numbers on the screen. Long story short, Genshin is made to feel easy for the target audience. Anyway, that's enough of talking about the combat. It's obvious that Wuwa and Genshin have their own respective target audience in this area, but with their own strengths. Now, let's talk about my final point, the exploration. Wuthering Waves has introduced many quality of life exploration tools, from being able to run up the terrain, a grapple to provide effectively an extra jump, and most recently the gondola and wings, providing sea and air-based exploration respectively. You want to know the funny thing? They're all free for progressing the story and gives a breath of fresh air when exploring the overworld. Now, there are downsides. Unfortunately, the gondola and wings are currently region locked to where they have been released. I hope in the future they make it so the current and future exploration tools introduced can be used everywhere in the overworld, bringing new life to exploring those areas. Which can't be said to Genshin, where exploration is either tied into the environment, or you will need to get lucky or pay for quality of life exploration for pulling characters, which is very sad for a game made by a successful company that has the time and resources to implement the same or better changes for all of their regions. Now, that's enough of pulling sucker punches on Genshin. Overall, Wuthering Waves has a lot of potential. It's not perfect, but has good bones for being a long-lasting hit. I would also like to address a couple things that need to be addressed sooner rather than later, as it can hinder the game as well. With the additions of new characters being released, the older units are starting to feel dated and should receive reworks or buffs to their kits to help them stay relevant to the new additions to the game. The ecosystem needs some quality of life additions, such as removing tuners, more ways to get Echo XP, removing the overworld Echo collection limit, and maybe a stat tuner, but that comes with its own risk. With that being said, Kuro Games is improving, listening, pushing visuals, and their storytelling. All they need to do now is fix their intro and keep progressing forward. If you made it this far into the video, thank you. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.